So ironically, there is a general, I guess, learning lesson here that I prefer or I think about a lot anymore. That I think I'm doing a stream in a couple of weeks with another like Webflow community member on this general topic of like, in my opinion, and using many tools over the years, even pre-Webflow, right? Like more often than not, the tool that tries to do everything often does all those things just kind of okay. Whereas like if you select a combination of tools that each do one thing really well and then happen to work together, you almost have a better outcome in terms of like flexibility, quality, speed, that kind of stuff. And so like even when you look at these, although again there is 9, I tried to group them up with the primary secondary because it, especially in one grid, it's like, whoa, really at the end of the day, Airtable and Webflow, those in my opinion were the core of like Webflow. Again, incredibly powerful, flexible front end. You can integrate code so easily to do all the things you can't even do natively. Airtable as a back end, so powerful, so scalable. All the automation, scripting, and other stuff you can do in it makes it so it's like very flexible, and also it has this interesting balance with like complexity and functionality and also like ease of use. Like it's friendly enough that even people, especially collaborators on the team that need to get in and do something, don't feel overwhelmed by some like really technical, maybe more dated looking database type tool, right? So it has this really strong balance. So like if I really had to narrow it down to the 2 priorities, it was these 2. And then, WhaleSync being the power glue between them. And then MemberStack really like, to be very transparent, like MemberStack is one of a couple options. Like Outseta is another great tool in the space that can do a lot of things MemberStack can. Again, native Webflow memberships would be amazing to use. It's just not quite there. I hope it will be one day. And so if that's maybe another way to think about it, is like we were prioritizing using the combination of tools that we think do each specific part of it best, and then combining them to get the best of all worlds, right?
And that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, in my opinion, especially like when it comes to events, I was working at that past company when COVID hit, and I'll just like I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was like that whole industry exploded in uncertainty of like, oh my gosh, all of our events need to go virtual. Who's doing virtual events? All these new companies and tools came out of the woodwork claiming they did a virtual event solution. And then a lot of times that was all you could tell is just kind of duct taped together quickly after the fact. And so when my thing was always like, when I really think about it at the core, what is especially a virtual event, like you just need to get somebody's information. Maybe they need to pay for a ticket, and then you just need to gate their access to viewing some content when that day comes, right? Like beyond those fundamentals, everything else is like supplementary, right? Everything else is like nice to have or shiny, And so to me, I've always thought about it as this like really core set of tooling that as long as we can nail that, then from there we can be as flexible and creative as we want to be, right? Like with the referral concept, or candidly, there was a lot of other things that came up in the process of building the conf experience. Like for example, workshops, those weren't originally part of the plan. They were kind of an ad after we saw certain levels of engagement and things. And so the ability to then add in a separate way within the comp site for people to register for workshops we didn't know that was coming, but thankfully the combination of tools that we selected here allowed us to pivot and adjust and create completely net new custom functionality within the existing tooling we had, because it's all meant to be open-ended and just really good at those fundamentals. You know what I mean? Yeah. So